points from the last 2 games since we last spoke. How pleased are you at that return?
Yeah, I think the points return, it is what it is, Liam. I think the most important thing for us has been the return to fitness of players, and also the emergence of the new players that we've brought in. I think it was probably really well documented by everyone there. The threadbare squad we had over Christmas, and for us as a club in the league who carries a really strong squad, to be threadbare, you can only imagine what the injury list was like, but we've come through that now. So the reality is now we're trying our best to refocus on the targets we may achieve this season. We appreciate the difficulties we've had. All clubs have them. Every club in the league has a different agenda. Every club has a different sort of, outcome of what they want to achieve in the season. For ours, we still want to be promoted. It's football. So for us now, every drop point hurts. Going forward, we know how difficult the league is. We've seen the league now, we've seen all the teams. So the challenge for us now is, can we get enough points first and foremost to help us achieve our objectives? It'll be difficult. We know that. But we're certainly all trying, especially with the window coming up now, which will close. And the squads will all be then what they'll be for the run-in. We're trying to align the group of lads so that we all have the same objectives.
How much would it mean to you to lead this club to another promotion? Because I know how much at heart you've got this club.
Listen, I think when I made the decision to come back, Liam, it was just purely based on to return to the league. That was my decision. It wasn't to stay longer term. But when I watch what goes on in the football world, to managers, coaches, the sackings, the more important, not just the sackings, the free-for-all when someone's jobs come around, and then the re-sacking in another 2 or 3 months of the manager that they just sacked. And the carnage cycle just goes on and on and on. So I'm here at our club, my club, because I want to be here. Not the short-term objective's gone, which was to take the club back in the league. And there's a much more longer-term objective now, which is to return us to the place where maybe I had us before, which is knocking on the door for that championship, which is it's a tall ask, and to do it and achieve it, you need help, and I get that help at this club. I really do get that help at this club. So I couldn't be in a happier place. Speaking of promotions, why can't you speak about stuff? Why can't we dream about stuff? That's what football's about. For us, we're a really good club, but we've had a tough year. I think the injuries have been really, really tough. The teams that have played in games, if you go back and look at the Doncaster team that won away from home 3-0, I think you'll probably find 2 or 3, 4 players max in the team now. And that's sort of been the carnage we've had to put up with. So we're trying to build again now. We're trying to go forward off a more solid foundation, with the hope that this year success can still be achieved.
And since we last spoke, you brought in Dylan Duffy on loan from Lincoln, and he made his debut midweek. How excited about you to have him in the group?
Like all new signings, and I think we'll have a bit more news on Dylan this morning. I think we're open to turn that into something permanent, possibly, which is good news for the club. Lincoln have been great to deal with. Dylan was just a young lad at Lincoln who was on the outside of their team, getting minutes, getting bits of time. But Lincoln and ourselves had a really good chat, about the importance of Dylan playing, getting more minutes so that his career progresses. And if his career can progress, I think can Lincoln benefit by him progressing? And can we benefit? Great age, great profile, great left foot, really good qualities to work with, settled into the group so well. And his performance on Tuesday night, I think, gave our supporters just a glimpse that potentially there's a really good player in there.
It sounds like he's someone who you've been aware of for a while then. Obviously he's come through from the Shamrock Rovers as well, hasn't he? Is he someone you've been on your radar for a bit?
Yeah, UCD, I think, Liam, in Ireland. Like all players, squads are big now. We're always looking at other clubs' squads, who's on the fringes, who's getting minutes, no different than our own, the way clubs like our own. And, the biggest thing now, can we bring in players that make us better? I think obviously losing Mark Handy, James Berry, Griggy out your team, that's taken a lot of goals out of anybody's football team. At the other end of the pitch, to lose Dev Tanton, Shea Dunkley, Harvey, Lewis Gordon, that's taken your back four out the team. So, as you can imagine, it's been tough. It's been tough on the players, it's been tough on the supporters, but I feel we've come through it together. Going forward now, we're always actively looking to sign players. We're looking to progress the club, but we're not looking to be like a meteorite. You know, if we make good decisions and we do things correctly and properly, the club will go forward. And that's very much to the fore of my mind, and I'm sure Phil and Ash's behind the scenes as well.
It's a very responsible approach that you take with that, because other managers might just think of it as a short-term fix. Is that something, because it's Chesterfield and you feel so close to the club, that you feel responsible to have that sort of approach to it?
I think I've been entrusted with that, Liam, through Phil and Ash. You know, Ash on a more daily basis, who's in and around the club, and Phil, who's very much hands-on around the club, if you understand me point, is there for us whenever we need him. You know, and the support I get and the rest of the staff is fantastic. It's absolutely day-to-day. It's fantastic. I couldn't ask for better owners and people to work with. You know, and that probably puts me under a bit more pressure, if I be honest, Liam, because you really want to succeed with them. You know, I want the club to work for them. I look at 7,500 in on a Tuesday night for Bromley, and I see how far this club has gone. Our away support's brilliant, our home support's brilliant, and the club's in good hands. So let's stick to the plan. Let's try and do our best this season to finish the season as strongly as we can, with the one objective: we're doing our best to go up this year.
So obviously Monday with the transfer deadline, you're still looking. Maybe, and obviously last week you mentioned maybe some players going out as well.
Yeah, actively. Do you know, we've gone from no players to too many, and that can be football. We've still got injuries. I think, as you'll see over the next weeks, I think we've had a bit of disappointing news on Kyle McFadden. You know, he's going to be out for a period of time, which is an absolute another hammer blow to us, if I'll be honest with you. I think everyone can see the calmness and the quality he's brought to our team. You know, in the two games we've looked at him, Port Vale and Bromley, I think he started the game against Port Vale a little shaky, home debut, a little nervous, probably had a 5-minute spell like that. And then the rest of the game time's been absolutely what we thought we'd get. Just a top player, a top pro, and he's going to be a big miss for us now, because he was forming part of a new back four and a new defence. So we're going to have to adjust to that. Hopefully he can be back to help us still, but we'll watch this space, you know, and let's see how we go on forward, because players must leave now. Do you know, I'm doing my best to help them leave. Do you know, we don't have that situation at our club now where, you know, lads are not aware of what's going on. You know, our players get spoken to on a daily basis, good and bad. And one of the things that I can compliment any player we ask who might be on the fringes to go to help us, they do that and more. And that's great credit to every player we have in our squad today.
So do you look for help from within then? You know, with central defenders there, you've got Tyrone Williams and Ash Palmer, or do you have to go back out and have another look?
I think a bit of everything, Liam. I think a bit of everything. We're actively in the market all the time. I think T and Ash Palmer have done absolutely brilliant for us. You know, both coming out of our team through injury. They haven't come out the team through anything other than injury. You know, Ash being a bit more long-term, T a bit more short-term. Again, two lads are very much to the fore now in what will go on in the future, which again is great credit to them, you know, for being there for me. And like I'd like to think for all our players, I'm always there for them as well.
And there has been some reports of interest in Armando Dobra from elsewhere. How confident are you of keeping him?
I'm never in football today, Liam. If you're confident of something, you're a very foolish man. I've just left a very happy Armando Dobra upstairs, arguing with Lewis Gordon over a bet they've had, that Lewis would get a goal before Dobbs gets an assist. Dobbs is claiming his money on the basis that he assisted Ryan. Lewis is trying to claim that he's out injured and he can't get his goal. So at the minute, Armando's on the bus with us. He's everything I love about football. Absolutely everything. He plays the game like I like the game to be played. He's got no abundance of quality, and his goals are now carrying us exactly where we want to be. So one day, I'm sure that day might come where he might leave us, but I'd much rather think about him taking us to where we want to go. So long may Armando's form continue at Chesterfield Football Club.
Yeah, absolutely. And just finally then, Cheltenham, it was one of those games early in the season, wasn't it, 1-1 draw,
Yeah.
quite frustrating. What do you expect down there tomorrow?
I just think they've had a great season. Flinny's done a great job, really good job. Probably at the start of the season, a lot of people would look at them probably with Accrington, Morecambe, Harrogate as the clubs that will be likely to be in the relegation shake-up. You know, they've had great wins. At times they've threatened to get towards the playoffs. Consistently get results at home and on the road. And we will have a really difficult game tomorrow. I know Flinny really well. He's a great guy, really good football person. And he'll be licking the lips at us coming down there tomorrow in anticipation of the result they may get. I think Flinny will also be aware that he will get a really focused Chesterfield team tomorrow, really doing our best to keep winning runs going and to win football matches that can see us get where we want to be. It'll be difficult tomorrow. It's a really tough place to go and win, as teams have found out, like Salford latterly. You know where you get beat. And for us, the challenge is in front of us and we've got to go and meet it.